Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to return to Poland and continue on with this Polish beer month that I've been filming for you across the month of May 2016. And this one should be a really interesting beer. The standard of beer I've found in Poland so far has been very high. The craft beers are outstanding, the regional beers are really very good as well, and I was even surprised at the standard of the macro beers as well. But for this one we have something different. This is the first beer from Poland that I'm going to try that is brewed in the Belgian style. So for this one we are going to go to Poznań and we're visiting Browar Szałpiw, and these guys name all of their beers using words from the local slang dialect. So this one, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, is Szczun, but this is the term that they use to refer to a boy, I guess, who's about 19, 18, 19, 20, 21, that sort of age apparently. I might be wrong about the age group, but it does definitely mean boy. And apparently this is has been very helpful to the brewery. It makes them stand out on the market, and a lot of the people locally are very curious about it because it uses their local slang, but apparently not all the people in the city know the slang too well. So it's quite an interesting little point about this brewery. But this beer is an 8.1% Tripel and it's rated at 99 overall and within the style on Rate Beer, so it should be pretty damn good. It was in the top 50 Tripels on Rate Beer apparently as well, so I'm sure this will be a damn good beer. And this one was actually recommended to me by Pavel at Piwomaniak in Warsaw. He's got a great beer store there with a lot of Polish beers. If you're interested in that, do check out the link to his Facebook page in the description below. Very nice guy, big metalhead, and if you're interested in Polish beer, he will point you in the right direction, I'm sure, so do check him out. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual websites are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that I'll do from Browar Szałpiw. This is the very first time I'm trying one of their beers, incidentally, and there's all the usual social media, Facebook, Twitter and Untappd. Please follow me on there. Your support would be much appreciated. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel, and to those of you watching in Poland, I apologise in advance for the bad Polish pronunciations in this video. Your language is insanely difficult to pronounce properly, but please forgive me for that, and do get in touch and let me know some of the other Polish beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review, and I hope you're enjoying the Polish beer month that I'm doing for you at the moment. So anyway, to tell you about Browar Szałpiw, so as I mentioned before, these guys are another one of the many contract brewers in Poland. This is very common in Poland actually. A lot of the craft brewers are contract brewers, and it's the same idea as the gypsy brewers in Denmark or the phantom brewers in Sweden. They don't own their own brewery, but they rent spare capacity from other bigger breweries. But this company is run by father and son team Wojciechem and Janem Szała, I guess you could say. It's the L with the little dash, so it's Szała. But the company are from Poznań, and all of their beers, as I mentioned, are named using the local slang. So the first three beers that they produced were all Belgian style beers, and they were called Szczun, which is this guy here. It means boy. There's Räuber, which means rogue, and there's this one which is very difficult to pronounce. This is Bejigiała or something like that, which is an affectionate term for a woman who annoys you, apparently. It's something like that it means. But these names were apparently what made the locals really interested in the beer, and since their first brews they've actually begun to experiment more with other styles of beer, German styles, Polish styles like the Grodzicki and things like that, and also some American styles too. But Jan is a graduate of the Poznań University of Technology, and he actually won the Beerophilia homebrewing competition back in 2011, and this was what really spurred him to turn into a fully professional brewer. But apparently he and his father got into brewing after Jan's mum bought them a home brewing kit, and they constantly experimented with this from when Jan was something like 15 years old. I read an article from 2013 and it said they'd been brewing for about 8 years using some of these old home brewing kits and stuff. So these guys are home brewers at heart, which is probably why they brew such good beer. But since these guys are a contract brewery, many of their beers are brewed at Browar Bartek and also Browar Szałpiw as well. But the company have been doing well, and apparently they're thinking of opening up their own brewery at some point in the near future. But obviously the concern is with the costs that are associated with that. It's a very expensive business to set up your own brewery building and things like that, but I'm sure in the near future we'll see it. These guys are supposed to be very, very good, and a lot of Polish people rate them very highly. So yeah, another interesting brewery from Poland. There's a lot of these days, and I would recommend that you try out some of the Polish beers. The stuff I've tried for you on the channel so far has been really, really good. So just to list a few of the other beers you can get from these guys, obviously you get this guy here, which is the Szczun. This is that means boy in the local dialect. This is a Tripel. There's the Räuber, which is the rogue. That's a Belgian double style. There's the Budziagawa, the one that means women. That's a Belgian paleo. There's also Dinks, which means something. It's a kind of undefined term. It means it's just a way to refer to something undefined apparently, but that one is a wit beer. There's the Sroop, which is it's a kind of Sroop means the sort of determination or stubbornness of a horse. That one is a black IPA. And there's also the Kater, which means dog, and that's an amber beer. They do have a few other ones as well, but those were the main ones that I could find listed there. But that's your little history of Browar Szałpiw. If you do want to learn more about them, go and check out their Facebook page and the website. They're both in the video description below, and I'm sure you can find some more articles on this brewery, but be aware they are all in Polish, so you'll have to use the Google Translate feature, and it's not so good for Polish actually. It's good for Swedish, but not so much for Polish, I've found when I've been researching these breweries. But let's get on to the tasting of this beer itself then. As I mentioned, this guy is an 8.1% Belgian triple, but I did read somewhere that it has that it's got some American hops in it as well, and it actually says on the side here there's the Zeus in here, Sats of course, and Amarillo. So I did read in the commercial description that this one was supposed to be somewhere between an American IPA and a Belgian triple, but like I mentioned, it's rated at 99 in Rate Beer, both in the style and overall. So I'll let you have a little look at the artwork of this one, and then we'll open it up. So as you can see there's the Szczun, the boy that I was talking about. You can see on the side there, it tells you a little bit about the beer here. I can't really read that of course because it's in Polish, but I'll just let you see it. Some of you may be able to read that, and you can see there is the Browar Szałpiw symbol on the side there, that nice lion with these flagpole. It reminds me a little bit of the lion rampant back in Scotland. It says you're best to serve this beer between 9 and 12 degrees, and this one I think it may be about 8-9 degrees now since I've taken it out of the fridge, but it should be very, very nice. But these guys I think it says on the side here that it's this one was brewed at Browar Regionale Warsaw. So yeah, this one was brewed at Warsaw rather than Browar Bartek. Plain bottle cap on this one, by the way, but let's get it out and get it into the glass. Yeah. So as you can see, nice smoky opening on this one. So we'll get it out and see how we get on. And you can really smell the Amarillo hops coming out of this one. That smells really nice actually. And you can see it does have a bit of this typical Belgian style head. That's about 2/3 of the beer in the glass, so we'll leave it at that just now. You can smell some beautiful orange flavours out of this beer. As I always say in some of these videos, I love the Amarillo hop just for the nice orangey citrus flavours, and you can really smell them coming out in this beer. So as you can see, this beer has poured a really nice orangey amber colour. I'll just bring down the light, I'll put it up here. You can see the exact colour of this beer. It is quite bright on the video, but you can see that it's a nice kind of bright, almost blood orange colour, this one. There's a finger and a half of a solid kind of creamy white head on this one. Very frothy of course. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. There is a little bit of sediment visible in the bottle, so when we pour the rest in later, I'm sure that you'll see that, but for the moment it is just quite an opaque colour. You can see there is a degree of transparency to this beer. If I put my hand behind it, behind the light, you can see a change in the colour, but the beer overall is quite opaque. So yeah, let's have a look at the aroma of this one before we get stuck in. Yeah, so as you would expect, there's a big bready malt base to this one. You can really smell this Belgian yeast. It's not really banana though, it's more of a kind of slightly wheaty bready character, maybe just a little bit of a peppery spice, but it's the typical kind of big bready, kind of doughy, yeasty aromas that you're getting out of this one. There's a little bit of caramel in there as well. I can pick up a little bit of caramel, but you can smell some of the nice fruits just on top of that too. Has the typical malt base you'd expect, a little bit of bready spice, some caramel too, those big doughy bready yeasty characters though. This beer smells really nice, so let's sugar it up and have a proper look at the aroma then. Yeah, when you sugar it up, you start to get more of these hoppy characters out of this beer. So you can really smell these nice orangey, citrusy esters from the Amarillo hop. I absolutely adore that hop. When I get into brewing, I'll probably just load them with Amarillo because I love orange flavours. But this is really nice, this one. You can smell that when you sugar it up. These nice juicy orange flavours. There's maybe a little bit of peach or just a little bit of tropical fruit in there as well. But it's got a good bit of floral kind of aromaticity to it. You'll get the kind of noble hop character from the Sats, of course. I forget whether Sats is Czech or Austrian, but it's one of the two. I think it's Czech actually, but I may be wrong. Pretty sure it's Czech actually. But yeah, you can smell these nice, almost noble-ish Czech hop characters from the Sats hop. And the Zeus as well gives you a nice kind of floral, quite nobly aromaticity, and you can definitely smell that in here. So it does have a bit of both sides of things. It almost smells like it's one of these kind of these kind of almost like Belgian wit beer double IPA hybrid sort of things. It smells a little bit like that. But you can smell the caramel, which is the more of the trademark of the Tripel, and of course that's used to cover up the alcohol warmth. But overall it smells really nice, so let's actually give this beer a try now. So this is the Szczun, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Browar Szałpiw, based primarily in Poznań in Poland. Do check out their beers, they're supposed to be pretty damn awesome, and I guess we're going to find out now. Na zdrowie. Yeah, I can see exactly why this beer is rated so highly. This is a damn good beer. Yeah. So as I always say, sugar the beer around your palate before you start dissecting the flavours too much. There's still, I'll get the last little bit in. There you are. It looks really nice. But this is a very, very good beer. I can see you can see with this one almost immediately why it's rated so highly. And that's a perfect pour, look at that. But yeah, it's very, very nice, this one. So you've got a good balance just when it comes in. You get the nice sharp yeasty notes, but the fruit just comes in on top of that. Just behind the very front curve of the tongue, you can get the nice orangey, citrusy characters in that little oily bubble. It's really, really nice. Yeah. So the middle of your palate is just blanketed with that typical Belgian bready character. It just goes right across the middle of your palate. You can feel the kind of bigger body there from the yeasty side of things. That's really nice. There's a little bit of spicy character in there too, but it's very subtle, but it just adds another little dimension to the beer. There is a good bit of caramel there as well. I think the caramel comes out nearer the front of the tongue, and for it being 8.1%, you know, it's not that obvious. You do get a little bit of alcohol warmth down here. But the Imperial Red that I reviewed for you yesterday, actually, it had a lot more alcohol warmth and it had less alcohol content in it. So this one covers it a lot better than that. But I mean, maybe I'm just used to the Belgian styles of beer these days. But this is very nice. So you've got that big bready Belgian-y malt base to this one. Some nice big fluffy yeasty characters. There's a good bit of caramel in there as well. A little bit of spicy note just mixed in, and you can feel the caramel just covering up some of that boozy flavour, but it gives it a nice balance between a slightly spicy and slightly sweety, or slightly sweet malt base I should say. But the hoppy characters of this beer are really interesting. So there's maybe just a little touch of the kind of more noble earthiness. That of course will come from the Zeus and from the Sats hop that are in this beer. You can feel just a little bit of earthiness at the back corners of the palate, and that suits the more bready malt base that you get from this beer. Some of the spicy characters, it just builds a good bridge between that and the other aspects of the beer. As you come further forward, it gets quite floral and aromatic and actually quite dry around the front curve of the tongue there, but it's a bit more smooth and grassy around that very front curve. Just at the front corners you can feel the aromaticity there, and as you move into the aftertaste it just kind of lingers and you can taste that flavour. It's very nice. It's really, at this beer, you know, you can see right away why it's rated so highly. Yeah, that's really, really nice. So if you just go behind that front curve of the tongue there, you'll feel these nice juicy orangey flavours, you know, the typical Amarillo orangey esters coming out there. and it complements everything really quite well. All the flavours in this beer blend together very, very well actually, so I would recommend this if you enjoy these hybrid beers, you know, these Belgian kind of IPA hybrid beers, then you'll certainly enjoy this one, definitely. I'd love to try this on tap and just see how it turns out, because in the bottle it's very, very good. There's no two doubts about that. The juicy fruit character of this beer actually builds as you move into the aftertaste. The oranges actually start to spread along the edges of the palate there, and you can just feel that juiciness building. The lingering flavours in this though are the kind of floral aromaticity, a little bit of the earthy character, but the oranges start to spread and you just get some of the bready and slightly spicy yeasty character just sitting in there on the palate. This is a very, very good beer. As I've said in this review series quite a few times, the standard of beer that is coming out of Poland is absolutely superb, and this might actually be the best one I've reviewed out of the series yet. This is a very, very good beer. So as I say, if you enjoy your American IPAs but you also like Belgian styles of beer, this one is a very, very good hybrid. If you enjoy the kind of more lighter, I guess, rather than the darker beers from Belgium, you will definitely enjoy this beer. One that this reminds me of a little bit actually is the I forget what it was called, but it was the last beer from Handbrygger. I think it was Belgisk Pale Ale they called it. I think it was just simply called Belgisk Pale Ale. So the Belgian Pale Ale from Handbrygger from Norway. This beer reminds me a lot of that actually. But yeah, this one is really quite nice. There's a good balance between the Tripel flavours and the more IPA flavours. So I would recommend, seriously, I would recommend that you try this beer. You will enjoy it, and from what I hear, pretty much with the Szalpiw, if you enjoy a Dubel rather than a Tripel, for example, pick the other beer that I mentioned and try that. These guys, you will not be disappointed with them. From what Pavel tells me, these guys are a very good brewery, and I can see exactly why. But in terms of the mouthfeel of this beer, I would say this one is mid-bodied, and that's mainly the bready characters that give it that slightly heavier body in there. The carbonation is very smooth. It's got a good oily mouthfeel to it as well. That helps the kind of caramelly notes that help cover the malt bill, or the caramel malts that cover the alcohol part of the beer very well. That's what gives it the slightly oily feel. There's a good bit of hoppy dryness to it as well, and a good balance between the sort of slightly drier, grainier, spicy characteristics of the malt base and the sweeter side of things. It's very well balanced in terms of flavour, and in terms of style, like I say, it's somewhere between an American IPA and a Belgian triple. It really does remind me of the Belgisk Pale Ale from Handbrygger in Norway. So if you like that beer, this is another good one for you to try. So yeah, a superb beer from Browar Szałpiw in Poznań in Poland. I really hope I can review some more of their beers on the basis of this one. This is very good, so I would recommend that you try it for yourself. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. Really cool to do another brewery from Poland, and hopefully I can return to these guys in the fairly near future. I've really enjoyed this beer, so I'd love to try their black IPA or the Dubel beer that they do as well. I'd love to try some of those beers, so hopefully I can return to them in the future. But as always, let me know your own thoughts on this beer and your favourite beers from the brewery in the comments section below. It'd be really interesting to hear from you guys in Poland. I thank you once again for watching my beer reviews. I hope you're enjoying this Polish beer month. There's still some really good beers to come from it, so I hope you continue to enjoy it. But thank you once again for watching. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Go and check out my social media things, but most importantly, go and check out Browar Szałpiw from Poznań in Poland. As I say, some really, really top stuff coming out of Poland these days, so do make sure you try some Polish craft beer. Thanks once again for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Na zdrowie.